Common Sense Camper. You're terrible. You did a knife review with poplar. You should have used a hardwood. I'm sitting here right now looking at my Janka scale, and you're doing us all a disservice. Hey guys, Jeff here with the Common Sense Camper. All right, what is that intro all about? Well, I had one of my subscribers send me an email, and he said, hey, I was just wondering why guys in the comments section get mad when someone does not use a hardwood when they do their knife review. And I thought that was pretty interesting, so I thought I'd explain that. Obviously, a hardwood is harder, more dense, and more difficult to get a tool through. There's two forms of wood procurement or manipulation, and that is either with the grain or against the grain. And typically against the grain, you're going to use a saw, an axe, or a large chopper. When you're going with the grain, again, you can use an axe, but most guys want to see you batoning through that walnut with that bushcraft knife to see if it's strong enough, it's manly enough. I want to see you try and roll the edge. I want to see that knife bent all up inside the grain where it's all twisted. Okay. But here's my question for most of those guys. Number one is, do you typically make most of your bushcraft wooden tools, whether it's a tent peg or just a ridge pole or a frog gig or fishing spear, do you typically make that out of walnut? I know I don't. I use what's around me, and if that's poplar or pine or whatever's laying around, that's what I'm going to use. If I'm looking for a hardwood, it's typically not to make a tent peg out of. It's to use for firewood, so I don't have to wake up every hour and stoke the fire if I'm in a colder climate. And if I'm looking for firewood with hardwoods, I'm not going to baton it with my main blade. I'm going to use an axe. I'm going to cut it with a saw. There's a million other ways to, cut that wood other than, diving my good knife through it with a baton. That's just me. But I used a word called Janka, which most of you guys are probably like, what on earth is a Janka? Well, Janka is used to rate wood hardness. And the guy that invented this, his last name was Janka. That's Janka. And there's plenty of Janka scales on the internet. I don't have my Janka scale memorized. I know that surprises a lot of you, but I do not have it memorized. So if I'm looking off to the side here, I'm looking at my laptop because I have one of the Janka scales pulled up here. Now, I first heard about the Janka scale. Actually, had nothing to do with bushcrafting. It was actually in my line of work, which is construction, and it was in relationship to hardwood floors. And so basically what the Janka scale is, the test for the Janka scale, is they take a 6-inch piece of wood, 2 inches by 2 inches. They take about it's just short of or shy of a 1/2 inch metal ball bearing. They set it on that plank of wood, and they take a plate and they pressurize it. And what they're looking to do is push that ball bearing halfway through the wood. Once they get halfway through the wood, they stop and they measure the pounds per square inch, or the PSI for short. That is how they rank the hardness of a species of wood, hence the Janka scale. So what I thought I'd do is just share a couple of them with you, just so you have an idea of the different Janka scaleness. Cork is going to be very low. It's actually one of the first ones, and it's at 200 pounds per square inch. Then you get into pine, which is 870. Teak is 1155. Birch is 1260. Red oak is 1360. Maple is 1450. Tigerwood is 2160. Brazilian teak is 3,540. Brazilian walnut is 3,680. So when you start looking at the hardness of different wood species, you really need to know what the Janka scale is, and that's what it is. And again, there's plenty of these scales. You can pull them up on the internet. They have ones that are global, so they show all the species of wood around the world, and they have just country specific, like Canada, US. So it's pretty interesting to look at it and just, you know, find out, you know, some of the woods that you thought were really tough might not actually be as tough as you thought. So hopefully that helps you out. So the next time someone complains about the wood you're using on your knife review, when they comment on it, ask them, what Janka scale would you like me to perform this knife review on? This is Jeff with the Common Sense Camper, camping out. Janka scale. It's just fun to say. Come on, everyone together. Janka, 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 Janka. I know you want to say it. Just scream it out right now. While you're watching the video, just yell, Janka!